whatever you need. Okay, yeah. So we keep a hand here with Orchard Oath and Flusterstorm backup in some way, shape, or form here. That makes a
Yeah.
bit of sense. We're on the draw. Um, we're happy to keep this hand. We don't see Aluris on the other hand, and we see an Underground Sea. That's all fine. We go to your turn. Um, they Ancestral, right? In your upkeep? Yes, so they Ancestral in your upkeep, and you've got a misstep for them, which is nice. And then they're going to force the misstep like we just saw. Okay, this all makes a lot more sense. They're trying to get an Ancestral through on your upkeep, and they do succeed at doing that. Fine. So here, are you considering doing Forbidden Orchard Mox Oath, or is that a little bit too risky? Seems as though it's a little too risky, right? They're just ancestraling back up to 6 cards. Maybe they've got more counter magic. You don't really know, right?
Yeah, they just drew 3. So let's see if we jam here.
We do not jam. We play the land. Oh, we are fetching though. So we're doing something. We're brainstorming. We're just gonna cast a mainstay phase brainstorm, look for some more counter magic on our own. I like that. It's a bit hard to put stuff back though, but I mean we can definitely put the plus fluster back since we can pitch the fluster to a brainstorm and maybe draw it here. We are locked, so yeah, you can just put the Oko back as well, and that should be fine. You're gonna try and go for something next turn if they don't do anything, maybe see what deck we're playing against, because we've just seen some counter magic and some restricted cards, and we have no idea here.
Yeah, and they don't have a Luris, so that gives us a little
Yeah.
bit of info too. Here comes a Wasteland.
Yeah, that is unfortunate getting wastelanded here. Means that we can't really play these Okos that we have in our hand coming up. But we can jam an Oath here. And I think now's as decent a time to do it as any. You're not going to draw a land for Flusterstorm, like, to also back up the Oath anytime soon. And, you know, anytime you pass the turn in Vintage, you can certainly lose. So we are going to see that. We are going to see you go for the Oath here. And the Oath is good. It resolves.
We're in
So
there.
we're in there. It does expose yourself to a main board force of vigor though on the oath and the mox. That's brutal.
Yeah.
But we can force that back at least, so that's something.
We're safe.
What deck is? What did they pitch the force of vigor? They pitched Oko. Okay, so they're either bug or just some kind of oath of their own. You know that makes
Right.
sense. So you've protected the oath. They don't have the force anymore. They didn't counter this, and they're just going to concede because usually when you resolve an Atraxa, you're going to win the game. Cool
Yeah.
stuff.
And at this point, I was kind of wondering, is it the mirror because of the Oko? But I think your suspicion of bug is better.
Yeah, because it's like, are you running Underground Seas? How much black are you in? You know, I don't know how these
Right.
Oath games tend to go. So, I think in the replay as well, you can stop this and click View Sideboard, so you can take a look at how you
Oh, cool.
sideboarded it as well. No, I mean like when you're in the game itself, right? You just pull up the game, you can right click, and you can view sideboard, right?
Oh,
So
there
we
we
can
go.
see what you took out, and you can tell me what you put in, expecting
You're
strong.
expecting me to remember all this, so I think we left in the Okos. That's interesting because okay, yeah, I took out one show and tell, thinking that probably wasn't very good. We brought in the Long Goodbyes, which is the 2 mana uncounterable removal spell.
Yep, that'll take care of Okos. That'll help, you know.
Right. What else? I think that's about it. I think that's the only thing we brought in was the Long Goodbyes.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, I mean, against Bug or even Oath, it doesn't seem like there's much in here that really stops what's going on to the
Yeah.
point where it's like you want to abandon your main plan for it. But we're on the draw here going into this match, so let's see how it goes. Okay, so here we have Yogwill, Mox, Demonic Tutor, Orchard, Atraxa, Time Walk. I mean, this is probably, in my opinion, not a particularly keepable hand. It's kind of slow, but it does have an Orchard and a route to an Oath.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel kind of bad about it in most
Looks like we kept it.
scenarios, but we did keep it, so we're gonna see what they do on their turn. So they jam the Tropical Island, Mox Sapphire. Cool. So they're gonna either try something or not. They do bring out the collector roof. So yeah, that kind of tells me that this is like bug, right? Like they're
Yeah.
running these kind of hate pieces like collector roof, and they're gonna make your start a little bit hairier. But so I guess what you need to be most worried about, like they obviously had mainboard artifact destruction and force of vigor, and they obviously have these collectors to help stop you going quickly. But your oaths are going to be interacted with in two ways, and your mox is already being interacted with. So you're going to play the fetch land here. You're not going to crack it. Yeah, I mean you play out the mox, whatever. Eventually it'll turn on again. But yeah, it's gonna be rough. Like you're not gonna get wastelanded. You're kind of hoping to draw some more lands. You want to show and tell this attracts in because that was a pretty decent draw. Yeah, there's the wasteland. So that's gonna put pressure on you, even playing another land or trying to go for a time walk line where you untap and DT for something, or just draw another land, time walk, play the other land, show and tell.
Yeah, and that was the
We
decision point here was, at this point, do you time walk?
Yeah, so
Do
you
you
did get another
DT?
land.
Hmm.
I guess if you get another land here, I think you are supposed to DT for something. I think that makes sense. Um, you could try. You can't get like Black Lotus or anything, which sucks.
Right. There's the
But you
waste.
can DT for Oath and at least put some pressure on people. I think that makes some sense
Yeah, let's see
because
what we did here.
you can play the Forbidden Orchard and you can play Oath, and they'll have to counter it or whatever, or they'll have to have another wasteland. You can threaten to show and tell later as well. Oh, we time walk.
We chose
Okay,
to time walk. Yep.
I think that makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna DT anyway, like you can time walk and then DT.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it changes the math, right? Because we're down a land this
No,
turn.
no, it doesn't. But you're not planning to do much on the time walk turn, so it's like you could save the time walk as a blue card for force or as leverage later when you have more stuff. I think in a situation like this, I might DT, but I also might be wrong because you picked up Flash. I didn't consider that as a 2 mana out, but I
Yeah.
think you are supposed to flash in the Atraxa here. Like we just picked up a threat, so that's nice. Maybe in their upkeep because you want to play around negation.
Yeah, I can't recall what I did here. I think I did it on their upkeep. Let's see.
You could also just do it now because it's like it's good to go pick up other stuff to do now sometimes, but it's not like you can do much besides play another land. So
Right.
it's debatable either way whether you want to play around negation or like play out your land. So let's see what happens.
Oh, we didn't do it in their upkeep.
Well, we did let them play a strip mine here. So maybe
Yeah.
we were planning to do this on their end step, like after they did something. So they're gonna blow up your land and you're gonna go flash in response, and you're gonna have a grand old time if they don't counter it. And they
There's
do counter it.
pitching
Pitching
Leovold.
Leovold, yeah.
Hate bears not deck.
Yeah, so doesn't really look good for our hero. We need to draw a land so that we can maybe DT for Oath or another land. Mox is kind of booty here. Just gotta pass it back.
Yep. We're dying to the 2/2 bear.
They are low on cards in their hand though, and they're just gonna keep wasting us because Wasteland, that's a card in this
Busted
format.
card.
Yeah,
Busted card.
yeah, like
What were we thinking giving them a spirit, man? Golly.
yeah. I mean, had to get an Atraxa in somehow.
Yeah.
Increase their clock by a turn or whatever. All right, we have Oath, so if we draw two lands now, we're kind of happy.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, we needed that oath a little earlier, didn't we?
They're probing us. They know what's what.
No more secrets.
Yeah. The clock keeps coming. We're gonna keep drawing not lands, and we're gonna keep crying. We're gonna keep passing the turn back. So like now that you know this is bug, how does this affect how you think about like the sideboard and what you want to bring in? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't change much except some dismembers. I already brought in the long goodbyes.
Yeah, you definitely want to bring in the dismembers here. I agree. Um, I think you can keep most of your combo plan and be fine with it. Maybe the flusters look a little worse, but maybe not.
Yeah, good point. Flusters aren't good. So we're still not drawing
Like, I
lands.
mean, you do still want to counter their like interaction spells, but
Yeah,
they don't have a lot of like instant speed threats, right? They're playing Deathrite Shamans and Collector Oaths and Okos, none of
right.
which Blusterstorm hits. And we let's top deck a card and get the bad news. Yeah, that oof shut us down pretty hard
Oof.
here. Yeah, big oof.
All right, we're dead. Let's go into game three.
So let's see if we change the sideboard plan. If you click on the sideboard and put those dismembers in, we
Yeah.
did put the dismembers in. We took out some more show and tells,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is valid. I mean, like show and tell is it's gonna put in their Okos and death rates or whatever some of the time, but I think if you resolve a show and tell, you still win.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a link to your like main deck list
Yeah, let me
or
pull that up.
just so that I know in particular what you're doing here?
Yeah, good call.
So you got 3 Oko, 4 tracks, Tinker, Yogg, Will.
Yeah, so for this game three, like you said, we did take out one Flusterstorm. We took out two Show and Tells to bring in three removal spells, two Long Goodbye and two Dismember, four rather.
Yeah, because I think you can take out the Force negation as well,
I
which I
did,
think
yeah.
you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you have the top. Yeah, that's all reasonable. Yeah, because we're doing the Tinker package as well. I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go back into it. So we have our opening hand here. We're on the play. Always good to be on the play. It's got a whole lot of lands, which is good against Wasteland, but it's also kind of slow.
I
I mean,
agree.
Oko can turn off a Collector Roof, but you're just kind of hoping to draw too many cards to justify keeping this hand, I think, and I would expect you to mulligan here.
I agree. I think it's too slow. Now this is a
Okay,
vintage hand.
yeah, so we're expecting here, at the very least, we could threaten a turn one Oath if we want to get in there without protection, and if we don't, we can still go for an Ancestral and try to find the protection. I think it's like justifiable here to go for the turn one Oath.
Yeah.
It's always like in Vintage, it's like the question is like, you gonna jam or you gonna not jam? It's like
Right.
if they mox out a Collector, if like you are gonna feel a little bad about that. If they start wasting landing you a bunch, you are gonna feel okay. Oh yeah, Planeswalker was not a card type for Oko. That is a good call, T-Bane. Yep.
So it looks like we put back a fetch land. Interesting.
I think I would have kept the fetch land.
Yeah, I think you're
Um,
right.
like if you're planning on playing around Wasteland here by like fetching and then ancestraling during the end step or whatever, then you definitely want to keep that over an orchard at the very least.
Yeah. All right, let's see if we jam here.
We are not jamming.
We
We are
chose the
distinctly.
ancestral route. Opponent did keep 7 cards, so that was part of the reasoning, I suspect.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we are ancestraling in their upkeep. We pick up some cards that don't counter any spells, but they do represent Oko. We are going to be giving them a bunch of spirit tokens since we didn't put that we didn't keep the fetch land.
Yeah. Yeah, another reason to keep the fetch land.
So they're going for Black Lotus here. Let's see what they do with it.
Oof.
Yeah, so they are going to Black Lotus out an oof, but since they didn't wasteland us, we do still get to go for a turn 2 oath here. They're going to spend some more mana on some stuff. They're going to DT. You don't want to do that into a DT. See,
Yeah.
it kind of looks like jamming the oath would have been good, and then just like, you know, like I agree, not me. It does make sense to like main phase an ancestral, and then try and like get the ancestral forced, and then like play the oath
Yeah.
afterward. But if the thing they kept is Force of Vigor, that doesn't really change the math on that unless you draw a counterspell anyway. I think it is justifiable to jam. Oath turn 1,
Yeah.
and either get it forced one way or the other, and then try to Ancestral after the fact. Get a backup plan. But I'm not. I'm going to keep qualifying this. I'm not an expert, so we're just going to call him like we see him and ask the top eight or how he made his calls.
My deck was kind to me this day, I will say that. So I chose to get rid of the oof, play out the Moxen. Let's see where it goes from here.
So you're probably going to jam the Oath now. Yeah. You long goodbye the Oof, you get the Moxen, you play the Oath, they negate it, whatever. They're down 2 cards. You've given them a bunch of spirits. But hey, you've got mana, and if you can get an Oko out there, you can start standing up some Mox.
Yeah.
Start blocking. Sylvan. I mean, that's going to help him out later.
3 spirits. What was I thinking?
Alright, so we have a land off the top here. We could cast Lorien Revealed if we were really hungry for it, but I think it's important to get this Oko out there. I mean, we're besieging the Sylvan Library.
Yeah.
That is going to be a card advantage for them. I was going to ask if you wanted to do this. I'm not sure how important it is to besiege you a Sylvan Library in this spot, but that I'm trying to think. I guess they wouldn't have too many other enchantments that matter too much. So
Yeah, and they're down, they're still down at 2 cards at this point, so I was thinking just slow them down a bit.
I think if you're going to do this though, you should play Trop and Oko first, so that they don't have access to Spell
Oh,
Pierce.
yeah, good point. That was bad sequencing.
I don't know what percentage of bug lists are going to play Spell Pierce, but
Not me. You're not. You're probably right. The deck was very
yeah.
kind to me this day. Yeah, good call. Should have sequenced that better before I gave him the land.
Yep, they will also play Spell Pierce, and you will play Oko first. My instincts were right there. We gave him so many spirits. Oko's gonna get attacked.
Yeah.
But yeah. So there aren't any other high priority targets. You do want to take out the Sylvan Library. We got Life from the Loan. We're picking up some stuff. Can't do anything about that. Let him do it. They're probably gonna send these spirits into the Oko here. Yep, Oko's gonna gain 10 life over the course of this game.
Yep. He's soaking up that damage.
All right, we get another Mox. I mean, we could cast Lorien Revealed, right? The sad ancestral recall. See what we hit. Yeah, that's a good point. Not me. I was gonna say, like, spell pierce considerations aside, you definitely don't want to have Vamp Tutor up.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good draw off the Lorien.
I mean, it is. We get the Vamp, we get mana, so while they don't have a lot of cards, we're finding threats, so that's
Yeah.
always good to see. They have way too many spirits as it is.
Yes. Spirit
cool.
Army. They have a Spirit Army at this point. Oof.
Ooh, they're putting their own ancestral on the stack. Let's see what they do with it. They don't really need much because of the Spirit Army, so they're just gonna
Yeah.
look for ways to stop you from getting an Atraxa in there. Yep, Oko goes down here. Food token blocks something. They're probably casting their own Lorien Revealed. Yep. But they tap out of the mana intensive counter magic. So
Yeah. They've drawn
we get
6
to
cards this turn.
Yep, we do get to vamp for something here. You gotta try it, right? So gotta go try to vamp for an oath. Even if it gives them another spirit. I think you have enough mana to do it in the upkeep, though. You can tap your jet, tap your other things for the oath if oath is what you're getting. Oh, but
Yeah.
you could hard cast Atraxa with all this mana. You don't even need to get the oath. You
True.
can just jam. You can just jam the lady yourself. Yep, there we go. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing. Yeah, and you can't do that without giving them spirits. So no, you can do yeah. So either way, you'd either have to give them a spirit in their end step or in this turn. So you don't need a vamp in the upkeep. Trax is gonna draw a million cards. And it's gonna resolve too. They drew 6 cards. They didn't find free counter magic.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. Atraxa, plays around force and negation, things like that.
Yeah. I mean, you also don't need to like pass the turn with an oath in play and have it get destroyed by a force of vigor if you don't need to. So
Yeah. Pretty good hits
um
here off the Atraxa trigger.
yeah, it tracks it even better than Tinker Citadel because of that reason. So yeah, we get force blue card, we get oath, we get top, but I mean like force blue card's almost enough here. They can't kill this without you know through counter magic,
Hey,
and
T-Bane, welcome.
even this army of spirits isn't going to beat a 7/7 flying vigilance death touch lifelink in a race to the finish. Yeah, they're going to probe and see all the cards that they already saw because they looked at them with Atraxa, but they're looking for answers. Is this demonic? Oh, it's Assassin's Trophy. Okay, so they are going to try and kill this. So I think you are obligated to stop this.
Yeah, I agree. No backup.
They did
Uh-oh.
go for this knowing that you had what you had in your hand, but
Yeah.
they would still attract Assassin's Trophy, for instance, a Bolas' Citadel if you tried to keep Tinker and resolve Tinker.
Yeah.
But we do need to find more stuff. Show and tell, that's not it. Where did it all go wrong? Let's play top and see what we can do. Find an Atraxa with top. We do find an Atraxa with top, so we can show and tell in the Atraxa. And they put in a wasteland, and you go find some more stuff. So we get Force Oko top land, yeah. So we do have more counter magic backup to stop this thing from dying.
Replay the top. They're down to 1 card at this point.
Now they've been pretty ground out. And man, this was just in time too, because these death strites are going to start, chipping away at your life total.
Yeah.
In addition to all this, so they're going to try. They need to get this Assassin's Trophy to work here because otherwise they're dead, and you have to counter the Assassin's Trophy because otherwise you're dead.
Chose to spin
We're,
the top here.
we're spinning the top for just checking. So we do get to block. That's nice. Gain 7 life. Then start beating them in the face.
They start eating stuff with the death right.
Yeah, because the death rates are going to start doming you for a lot of damage, but the life link is going to save you here from the Atraxa.
Yep, they were off by 1.
Yeah. Even if Tinker Bolas is Citadel kind of stuck there on the last turn or whatever, the life pressure from these death rights and these spirit tokens is something you can't overcome without the life linker. Yeah, so I mean, I assume we're swinging here and that they have nothing left and that this is pretty much the game essentially. Spinning the top again, seeing what's going on. We're gonna do some other stuff here.
Yeah,
We're
there's the
Yogg
Yogg
Willing.
Will. Shout out to Not Me for telling me to put Yogg Will in my deck.
Yeah, I mean we can start doing some broken things. We can cast Black Lotus and Ancestral here, and probably don't need to spin the top if you're planning on doing that.
Yeah, good point. There's the concession.
Yep.
The 2-1 versus Bug. Let's go to round two.
Yep, round two. Let's take a look. All right, so we are on the draw here. And you pick up a hand that has Flusterstorm, Mana Crypt, Oko, Lorien Revealed, Citadel. So, I mean, this hand would be great if we had the Tinker and not the Citadel. We have an early Oko. We have some protection, but we're on the draw. I'd say we mulligan this hand as an Oath Novice. Let's see what happens. We do mulligan this hand. We have Flash but no Atraxa. We have Fast Oko, and we have Force of Will. I do think we can keep this hand.
Yeah, turn 1 Oko with force backup.
Yeah,
Seems pretty good.
yeah. So we'll put back the C. No, the fetch land. I think it's okay to put back regular lands over fetch lands in case you feel like you need to play around Wasteland for some reason or like get different colors.
Yeah.
So we go Underground Sea Pass with Lurrus in play. Ooh, so we do have the opportunity to flash into tracks as well. So I think we can jam Oko here and like try and get a force out of their hand or something and try and like flash into tracks later.
Yeah,
But
I can't
I'm
remember what
curious
we did here. Let's see.
we're gonna play these cards and pass the turn, so I think that means you are gonna try and go for a flash.
Yeah.
I think that's fine here. I would personally have played the Oko because I don't know. It's like if they're not gonna do anything, then you can at least try and get the Oko going. But like this flash is resolving, and so you're just gonna draw a bunch of cards, and that's always gonna be helpful. So
Yeah. Nice hit.
can't argue with that. Um, yeah, I mean we're gonna pick up Force of Negation, Forbidden Orchard, Black Lotus, Atraxa, Oath of Druids, Yogwill over time. Yeah, I mean, that's all. Oh, we're picking up Trop instead of Orchard. I don't know if I just sort of agree with that. I mean, you are picking up an Oath. Might as well pick up
Yeah.
an Orchard as well. But
Yeah, good
yeah, I mean,
point.
you get a lot of different cards here, so you're definitely going to be happy. I mean, we're once again on the hard cast Atraxa plan. Does this happen often in Oath? Do you just cast Atraxa just like
Not often,
raw?
but it does happen.
It's just like you're getting the mana for this.
Yeah. I skipped through it, but opponent played a time vault. We let it resolve.
Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I would have here. Like, you're giving them time to just find a manifold key. That seems a bit sketchy.
Yeah. And big punt by us not keeping
The Forbidden
the
Orchard.
Forbidden Orchard, yeah.
Because now, like, we've just sort of unnecessarily put ourselves on a clock, but I guess we are planning to Oko the time vault, so I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just turn it off.
You can have an elk opponent.
Okay, so we're running out the Oath, and they do have the creature because you did Oko their thing. So there we go. Now we're just planning to get another Atraxa that way. Makes sense. We have double force. They have a lot of crushed dreams. This just seems like they got vintage pretty
Yeah.
hard.
Can confirm. They've seen enough. Game two.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's why I was surprised that like the Flash resolved.
Yeah.
That that's why I was considering playing the Oko first to like bait out counter magic or at least accrue advantage during the turns that they just stop what we're doing. But it worked out. Like when I played the challenge, you know, didn't take a turn one line that I could have and got punished for it and like but you just never know, right? That's why it's good to take the turn one lines for sometimes and sometimes it's good to wait for protection. It's like doing the Storm Dance and Legacy, but you have even less information.
Yeah.
We are on the draw here with kind of too few lands for me to be comfortable with the hand. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we can keep this.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, we have fast mana. We have Beseju even.
Yeah.
Like we can look at their stuff and we can take a nice line. We're obviously keeping this, and I think we can put back the Trop, or maybe we put back the Probe or the Crypt. We do put back the Trop. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll find another land for Oko, and we don't need it for Oath. All right, we find an attract, so that opens up some things we can draw at least. I think we're gonna probe them just to take a look at what's going on here.
Let's have a peek.
Oh, they missed up the
Misstep.
probe. they
Misstep.
don't they don't want us to know. We'll just play around Wasteland and pass, I think. Or we're gonna jam Oath. I guess we can play Mana Crypt to try and get him to do something.
Yeah.
A null.
A null. Vintage All-Star null.
I didn't realize a null was a good bring for from the sideboard against Oath, but
I didn't either. I guess it hits enchantments.
oh yeah, it hits enchantments. My mistake. That's a better bring than I thought it was. It was like artifacts only. No, I don't read the cards sometimes. We are at Island Cycling Ruler and revealed they are down to fewer cards. Did your opponent mulligan a few times or something? Because it
Yeah,
sure
I think
seems
they
like they didn't
started
have
on
much.
6. Yeah, and
Yeah.
then they spent Misstep, a null, and now Lorien revealed.
Okay. So it's a good thing we baited the annul. That mana crypt is looking like a heads up play now.
Yeah.
The oath is going to come down pretty soon.
I was totally playing around the annul on purpose.
Misstep on probe is a sign of weakness. I feel like in this format, aren't you supposed to take missteps where you can get them? I mean, I guess
Yeah.
misstep on like you want to get it on ancestral or whatever, but you know,
Oath
it's sure. I
resolves.
mean, you can hold it as a blue card. Like you can kind of just let them have the probe.
Yeah.
Oath resolves. They have their own probe, so you just need to get a creature in play. If they do anything, like you can stand it up with the Oko, just like you did in the last game, or you can try and find a Forbidden Orchard. We'll see what we draw here. Fluster's fine. I mean, we can Ion Cycle this Lorien revealed and, you know, get ready for next turn. All right, Oko with Force Backup. We just play the Oko here. It's one of the better cards we could have drawn here
Yeah.
because we assume
I
they're
agree.
waiting to force this. Yep, and now we can force back. We could have even just drawn a land though and done the same thing with the Flusterstorm. Atraxa showing off just how blue she is, pitching to that force.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean they get the Bowmasters out there, but what good's it gonna do?
Yeah.
We're animating the Mox Jet. You're gonna take a bit of damage here, but they got two cards in their hand, and you've got Atraxa coming. What did they pitch to force? That's a good question.
Another Lorien revealed.
They get the Lurus out there. Nothing in their yard to replay really at the moment. They can start looping their own Bowmasters or whatever. If that even had the ability to block. They just got nothing. You're sitting here with a hand of, you know, yeah, you just take Mox, you take Force, Oko, Oath, Land, Demonic, and they just concede. All right.
2-0
That's
against
that's game
Lurus.
that's game 2. Yeah, that's good stuff.
On to round 3.
Yeah, it sure seems like it, not me, that they played greedy.
Yeah, normally with these Lurus decks, you just expect a lot more stuff to get countered.
Yeah. So we win the die roll here. We look at a hand which has Tinker but no artifacts, no fast mana, but it does have Brainstorm, Time Walk, and Counter Magic. I think I'm okay keeping this in the blind. How about you?
I think I am too, on the back of the Brainstorm.
It's like a hand that does stuff and has Force of Will, so I can't even really be too sad about it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and our
exactly.
opponent doesn't have a companion.
Yeah, so that's nice. So we're just gonna play this. Oh, we're main phase in the Brainstorm. Okay. I think in this situation, I would hang on and maybe end step the Brainstorm, or maybe save the Brainstorm to get pitched to Force of Will, or just like leave the fetch uncracked. But
Yeah,
we
but
do main phase the Brainstorm here, and we do see, or even just like wait a turn and like play Forbidden Orchard and Brainstorm to try and shove some bad cards away, depending on how. The point is, I guess I would react here, not knowing
gotcha.
what we're up against. Um, yeah, so we put some cards back in. We don't have a way to shuffle outside of Mystical Tutor, it seems.
Yeah,
Like I think this is sort of the legacy control mentality that you have sort of creeping in, Jason,
yeah,
where it's like you'll main phase a Brainstorm and start looking for answers, looking for stuff, but like it's just not as necessary in this kind of dynamic. So we
hmm.
are forcing this. I think, and you didn't put back any artifacts, right, for Tinker?
I did
So
not, no.
I mean, you don't have anything for Show and Tell either. It's definitely either Show and Tell or Tinker, and it's probably Show and Tell that you exile to this force. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, I didn't even look at what was on the stack, but you're right. This is the Oath Mirror, and we have two orchards, so
yep,
they did not play an orchard, so they want this Oath to resolve, and so um, we're also happy to have it resolve. This effect is symmetric.
right, yep. And at this point, they have no way to give us a creature.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. I mean, so you even got the force out of them because they wanted the Oath to resolve. So
Yeah,
we
not me making a
mystical.
good point in the chat. If I would have been more aware, I would have remembered I had another orchard on top of my deck. Just
Yeah,
let this
exactly.
resolve and double orchard. Instead, I chose to mystical tutor and upkeep to go get recall.
Well, we're still gonna get the first bite at the apple here with the single orchard,
Yeah,
but yeah, it is nice to have the second one. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you just time walk as well. Like they're gonna force this. They would have forced the time walk anyway as well, but
yeah, yeah. They had what, two? Yeah, two Force of Wills in their opening hand with
but
Oath.
they had no way to make a creature. So
Right.
yeah, I mean they were kind of boned not knowing this was the mirror, but um, yeah, so they're just gonna pass it back to you. So
Yeah.
they just resolved the oath that you needed to win this game. That's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, and like a dummy, I fought over it.
They're giving it to you. You
Yep.
just take.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so let's take a look at the sideboard here.
Okay.
What do we take out versus the mirror? What do we bring in?
So in the mirror, not me has taught me, and from reading my sideboard guide, we definitely take out. I'm surprised I only took out one show and tell here. Normally you take out all but one show and tell.
I did see Justin say that in the mirror he takes out a lot of the oaths and leaves in the show and tells. Like so,
Gotcha.
because like you just saw in this game, the oath can be a liability if the
Right.
thing you're fighting over is the creatures.
Yeah, this
Do
looks
you want the
weird. I'm not
You
sure
want
why
the
I
long good
sideboarded.
you want the long goodbyes in because there is Oko in the deck, you know? And
Yeah,
that is going to be one of the more important cards in the matchup. Yeah.
yeah,
So,
we're definitely a weird sideboard plan I did here. This doesn't look right at all.
well, we'll see how it works out for you. Let's take a look at the hand. Okay. So we have Flash and No Creature, Probe, Oath ourselves, and Oko. I mean, having Oko and two Orchards is enough for me to be happy with what's going on here, even if we don't have counter magic to start out.
Yeah,
We can even vamp for counter magic if we're really desperate for it, but like by that point it's too late. I don't know. How are you feeling about this hand, Jason?
I'm still perplexed by my sideboard plan. I really, things went off the rails there. Unless this is somehow an error, that's really strange. But no, I agree. I think having double orchard here is really good um, with
Like
probe.
it's slow and it doesn't have counter magic, but it has the threats that you're looking for. So
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Bob, that was a not that was a tip from not me. We added two of those to the board, and they've been great.
it's a time walk start. So they're probably gonna play an Oko or something here. No, no land,
Three cards and
no cast.
passing.
We time walked into absolute air with three
Yeah,
mana. Very perplexing.
let's take a peek.
Yeah, I mean we got to know what's going on here, right? So it's force of will, force of negation, show and tell. Is that what you're seeing here?
It is. So they
Yeah.
kept a completely reactive hand, other than the time walk.
Yeah. So I mean, we can just like play polluted delta and go for a vamp or something. Yeah. I don't know. Or orchard, keep giving them a bunch of spirits. Like we can vamp for a force.
Yeah, so we didn't vamp on their turn. I was thinking just knowing they've got double counter spells, we chose not to. I figured I'd take a natural draw and see what we get.
I think you can tap the orchard, vamp for a force, and then play Oath of Druids and like have two spirits and force their force
Yeah.
and be fine in this spot. But they do have double force. But if you get both forces out of their hand, you get the Oko in play. I don't know. I think it's a line.
Yeah, I think that's what we ended up doing, but we did it on this turn, so we waited a turn. But let's see.
Oh yeah, Vamp for Attracts is also a good line because yeah, it turns on the flash and it also turns off their show and tell.
Yeah.
That's a good point from not me as well. I was just kind of trying to think about being more proactive here on this turn where we could be playing Oath.
So they drew a fluster. That's pretty bad for us because that means they still have two counter spells in hand. But we do have a fluster of our own.
They need to have another blue card to use both of them, but yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, here we can jam Oath with Fluster backup at least, but we're gonna brainstorm instead. So now we do have two ply of counter spells. We have Force and Fluster for their Force and Force. I'm still not sure that I agree with brainstorming here. I think I would have led with either or Oath or Oko just to get a counter spell out of their hand
Yeah.
and like had the plan to play another one of those next turn, but to not give them a spirit, I think would be the logic there, not me. But we do kind of want to give them the spirits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. We definitely should have held up fetch for the brainstorm.
Maybe a little traumatized from that other game where you gave them six spirits,
Yeah.
start getting beaten down. But yeah, I think the spirit tokens don't matter as much as you'd sort of expect. What are we doing here? Are we trying to bait them with a flash?
We
I mean,
are.
that's fair enough. Yeah, that's another way to get the counter spells out of the hand. Yeah. If we get them to hard cast the negation. Which I guess, given that, maybe you should have baited them on your turn to get them to pitch another card to it, but you did tap them out.
Yeah.
So now we get the Oath in play, and we have two counter spells. Yeah, Fluster was like, when we're going this deep on the stack, though, Fluster is always going to be unpayable. But we're going to start with it anyway. Just let them know.
And we're in there.
Yep, so we have the Oath, and we have the Indomitable Creature lead. If they pick up an Oko here to Oko the Atraxa, then it's like a real game, but you can force the Oko.
Yeah.
There it is. This is why Oko's so good in the matchup, though. It's just like, even if they... I mean, obviously Atraxa coming in is bad news, but like Oko lets you present a threat without like having to worry about the Oath Mind games, and you can make creatures on your and their side and turn off their Atraxas and all that nonsense.
Yeah, in the mirror matches, once you're playing the Oko back and forth, that gets tough and tedious.
All right, so we're on the draw again. We see Atraxa, Bolas's Citadel, Oath, Fluster, Oko. So we have lands and Oath, but we don't have a way to make creatures. We have Atraxa, but no way to show and tell or flash her in. We have Oko. We're on the draw without free counter magic. I think this is on the edge of hands. I would probably consider mulliganing this.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think this hand's good.
Okay, so now we have Orchard Oath on turn 1 at least, and we have Force Backup, so we're much happier about this hand.
Yeah, this hand's
Um,
great.
I think we can just put back the Trop, because we want everything else in it. Assuming we don't get Wastelanded, we get to Vamp Tutor for like another action piece.
Yeah. Yeah, we put back the Trop.
Yeah, this hand's great.
Opponent does not have Aluris.
Yeah, so they're Ancestraling. But you let it go because
Nope,
no, you don't
we
let
have
it
the
go.
misstep.
You do
Yeah.
misstep that. Yeah.
Like Not Me
You do.
says, misstep reads counter target ancestral recall.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, it's Doomsday, so they're gonna cycle. They're gonna try and
Yeah,
find a way to force this through. Yep.
3 street wraiths.
Yeah, they're digging. They really want this to resolve. They do find the force. They dug pretty hard for it
They
too.
dug, they found it, they pitch a preordain.
So now you don't have your force unless you get a blue card, but they fought pretty hard over that ancestral, so you can still jam, and they're not going to wasteland you, so you can still happily jam an oath here.
They did
Oh yeah,
not Dark Ritual Doomsday on their turn, so we get a turn.
yep. So we go ahead and play our oath, and we have force backup, and we hope they don't kill us with the Doomsday on their turn, and that's that. But they would need Dark Ritual, Doomsday, force backup, and a top deck of Street Wraith or something in order to get the party started here. Hand's getting pretty constrained.
Yeah.
They do DT, so they're setting up for what's presumably a win next turn, but without enough cards in their hand to get through all the counter magic you're going to have from plopping a Tetraxa down out of the field.
So the question here, do we counter the tutor or wait?
I think you can chill out. I don't
Yeah.
think there's anything that they can get that you can't counter on the way back down. Like, this isn't the kind of deck that, like, they're going to go get a Wasteland or a Saga or something. Yeah, this is all fine. Yeah, you can just counter the Doomsday. Well, I don't think you want to say Doomsday is okay, but well, maybe you do.
I think he meant up to the point of the Doomsday. Yeah.
I mean, there's merit to letting the Doomsday resolve. Like, obviously, if they have Street Wraith or whatever, you can get a Gush Pile and you can start drawing to the end of it, but you can counter the Thoracle and then you can untap and then you can go get stuff and then. It's true. I mean, like, you probably do. It's not like there's a way for them to beat you uncounterably here.
So we've got
But
quite
then
a
it's
few
like,
options now.
if you let the Doomsday resolve, right? Are they a Psycho playing Pact of Negation? Do you counter the Ancestral or the Gush or whatever? That is probably correct, but
Yeah.
could have easily been a Fluster. And in that case, holding is much better.
Okay, I think MTGO is
If they
locked
go
up.
for a pass the turn pile, holding is much better.
Okay, opponent concedes to that.
Yeah, so I mean, I get the argument there, Nami, that like if you don't counter anything on your turn up to the point where you're actually losing the game, and you draw off the left tracks and you get 2 blue cards, you get 2 forces. But
Okay, for game two, we took out an Oko, brought in counter magic. It's pretty much the only change.
if permission instead of a cantrip, countering like that likely loses you the game. Hold on, let me just think about this with not me. So it's like you counter Doomsday, and then they draw another Doomsday while they have permission, or they use another Doomsday while I have permission, and then you can't counter that. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think it's kind of tight to be able to present another Doomsday there, but it's a good point. You could try to counter their draw spell after they Doomsday, for instance, and I think that would be fine there. Let them take the damage and die sooner. I just think that if they try to go for a fast pile, then you are going to be forced to do something. But yeah, if they go for a slow pile, then you can get 2 counters, and that's good. All right, we take a look at this hand. We have, Orchards and Oath. We have Force Negation with no blue card. We are on the draw. So we're trying not to get turned 1 tier. We can't get another blue card. We do have Strip Mine. That is going to help if we don't get earn 1. I think this is keepable. You would consider this unkeepable?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think we can keep this. It doesn't do enough.
Yeah, that's fair. I guess like we don't have a lot of permission, so it's a good point. Um, turn 1.5. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, we're looking at this. This is looking better. At least it goes faster. Harder to go to 5 on this anyway.
Yeah, I think turn one Oath is good here. We have a
Yeah, like
brainstorm.
we can put back the Yogwill and just like roll with it.
Yep, that's what we do.
So we hope they don't murder us,
Yep.
and then we go play a turn 1 Oath and hope they don't counter that. It's kind of tough to hope that your vintage opponent on turn 1 doesn't murder you and doesn't have counter magic up, but this has happened a few times in this challenge, so
Uh-oh, Dark Ritual, that's scary.
they are doomsdaying. We're going. We don't have any more fast mana being represented here, but we don't know what the rest of the cards in their hand are. Seems as though we've passed the turn. Yeah. They would need Street Wraith and a cantrip, or they would need like another Mox or something and a cantrip. And like a Street Wraith. Yeah.
I gotta step away, Ben. I'll be right back.
Alright. Yeah, they'd need like a couple of Street Wraith effects or multiple Moxen, that kind of thing. Like Street Wraith Mox Sapphire is good enough. Street Wraith Black Lotus is good enough. Yeah, Misstep is great. Because odds are they're going for an Ancestral pile with just one land in play. The Gush piles and the Time Walk piles I find to be more consistent because of Misstep specifically. I've had people chalice me on one when they should have chaliced me on two. Probably because of Ancestral. Yeah, I mean, it seems like we're just gonna be happy that we ripped a Misstep and play an Oath and try and kill them in the case that they don't kill us immediately. Because if we brick their Ancestral here, gives us a turn to attack with the Atraxa, put him to 2. Gives us a turn to also vamp for a force. Yeah. Yeah, every pile's gonna play into different things. That's absolutely true. I think realistically, in this case,
Okay, sorry about
yeah.
that. I'm back.
Yeah, and they definitely it's nice of MTGO to not sort the pile so that like it's a little harder to know exactly what's in it. But yeah, so we're just playing Oath here and we're ecstatic that we drew Misstep. Oh, we're not playing Oath
Why
here.
didn't I play Oath?
Kind of should play Oath, right? Like
Yeah.
what's going to happen?
Yeah, like I guess holding up blue mana for Brainstorm was the thought.
That can't be right because you like even if you misstep the Ancestral, if you let them take enough turns, they are still going to kill you. You would like to get an Atraxa in there and draw more counter magic and attack them.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I didn't play Oath.
See, Atraxa is like Brainstorm, but it looks at 10 cards instead of
Yeah.
3.
Yeah, we'll say that's what it was, not me.
Yeah, it's true. Flaming Flusterstorm is important here. That is one of the things that they could be representing in their hand. So here, like, you could look at their pile, see how many forces they have left, how much counter magic they have left. If I was playing for, any amount of money, I might look through the pile and see. Yeah, exactly. Like, you to determine what to play around here, like how much counter magic you need to get through. I think it is kind of important. They just concede.
Yeah, I'm
How did
really
they know?
yeah,
What the hell?
I'm really confused here because
What an anticlimax!
a bunch of time passed and I don't remember the game ending like this.
They make a pile that can't win. The shame concede. They just,
Apparently, because I do not remember the game ending like this. It's so I don't remember what happened here.
they just look at the top card. It's like, oh man, this is a gift card to Chuck E. Cheese. We
Yeah,
messed up.
no, I think not me's right. I think that
Oh,
this replay's glitched or something. Let's try loading it one more time and see what happens.
because like from either player's perspective, this game was not necessarily in hand.
Yeah,
Just looking at the table.
I'm just gonna let it play in like full replay mode and see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah. No, that's a good call. They exile a bunch of cards. Oh, they do go for
Here it
ancestral. Okay,
is. Yeah,
we missed up the ancestral. They forced the misstep.
yeah. I think I
Okay,
vamped tutor for something.
probably Vamp Tutor for like a force. Yeah,
Yeah, I,
and find blue card, force it back. Okay, so we bought ourselves a turn here. A turn we wouldn't have had if we had just gone for Oath. This is true. This is the not me brainstorm line coming in clutch.
yep.
We pick up another Oath here. So they are going to have to natty draw two cards now that we blank their ancestral. And it was really lucky that we were able to pick up this Oath here to kill them in this much time.
Yeah, so the
It's a different universe. The Mana Crypt RNG is seeded wrong.
yeah, yeah, this is a different timeline where I win the game this way.
Oh, he didn't shuffle. Oh, I know we vamp pre brainstorm, but like we didn't know we were gonna get. Oh, that's right. We put the oath from our hand on there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Obviously, yeah, yeah. That makes sense. The thing that we didn't know we were gonna get was the other blue card. Yeah, that went a little too fast for me to
Yeah,
realize.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's what
That
it
was.
was. I had to brainstorm into a blue card and we did,
Yeah,
thankfully.
yeah. Exactly. And we're even gonna get the Atraxa from off the top from the brainstorm right here. No need to mill anything.
Good old clean magic.
Yeah, I agree. No,
I
I
agree,
had not.
not me. I backed into some correct lines somehow.
No, I had not considered this outcome. This makes a lot of sense. Brainstorm, pray for a blue card in two.
Yep.
Put the oath on top, and then go play it next turn. That
Pretty
was a
good
bit
hits.
twisty in
We
the way
drew the
that I hadn't
time
thought
walk.
about.
Time walk resolves.
Yeah, we either needed Time Walk or more counter magic here because they were going to go for the Oracle next turn, but
And one thing
it's not
that
that
not me
unreasonable.
taught me is go ahead and take an oath trigger here to draw more cards.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why we didn't take DT there. I don't know why I took show and tell.
Yeah, I mean, permission and more threats to win the game are kind of the same thing, right? So, yeah, Ancestral wins the game, Time Walk wins the game. They can't counter both of these things. Blowing up their lands is kind of cheeky. I mean, they're dead like 40 different ways here.
Yeah.
Yep, and they realize it. All right, cool.
Yeah, that was a fun game. Yeah, having to brainstorm and find a blue card was we were very lucky there.
Yeah.
So at this point we're 4-0 headed into round 5. I think at this point I was ranked first at this point, I think, which was just crazy to me.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Not a position I'm used to being in.
All right, let's take a look at this hand. I mean, this is a turn one oath with a creature, and it's got force backup, so I'm pretty sure you're just ecstatic here. You're on the
Yeah.
draw again, but let's see what they do.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's a bizarre deck. What
How
sort of
bizarre.
bizarre? All right, it's Countervine. You got one Root Walla. Got Hollow One for the Vengevine. Okay, so we didn't need the Orchard to have more creatures.
The question here, do we counter the hollow one?
Man, that's tough. I feel like you got to save the force for interaction with your oath, like a force of vigor or force in your oath or something. Like if you can get it Atraxa to stick, you're winning this game. So
Hey, yo, Garrick, thanks for hanging out. We're doing a
there's
replay
just
of
yeah,
my
I agree now. There's just no way to counter the hollow one.
Garrick, we're doing a top 8. I managed to get top 8 in the Vintage Challenge this weekend, so Ghost Wheel and I are doing a quick replay. Yeah, I think we end up not countering here because it doesn't change the math a ton.
And even if it did, I don't think it changes how you win the game.
Right.
But no, it definitely sucks for them to get 9 power on the board turn one. It's
Yup.
nice to get the Beseiju in play, but it's a little or in hand, but it's a little late for that. I think you're supposed to just jam oath here. They do negate. We're gonna force back.
Yeah, how
They
about this
force
hand from the
again.
opponent? So,
Bizarre. Put 9 power in play. Have double force.
welcome to Vintage. 9 power on turn 1 plus 2 free counter spells in your hand.
Yep, that'll do.
Yeah, I've seen enough. I think we play it out one more turn.
What do they keep? 7, 6? I think they kept at least 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, gonna get ran over here.
Yep, not much you can do with that. Game 2.
All right, let's take a look at the board here. So the Tabernacles are in. The Ley Lines of the Void are in. What else is in?
I think that's about it. We bring in the 2 Sarah's emissaries. We take out the Citadel package. We should have brought in the Sphinx of the Steel in. That was a misplay. Yeah, not me's right because you bring that in. You leave Tinker, but you take out Citadel and bring in the Sphinx.
Yeah, so you just have a Tinker in the deck that doesn't do anything right now.
Yup.
That's
Yeah, that
yeah.
was a punt.
That all makes sense. All right, Sphinx aside, let's see what the hand is. Get down to the felt. We got stuff, but we don't have a threat. I feel like this is not the hand that you want versus this deck specifically. Like it doesn't deal with the Bazaar, and they're just going to keep playing stuff. Like even though you have double counter magic. And correct me
Yeah,
if I'm wrong, not me.
yeah, and not me. I agree. I'm wondering if the replay is messing up the sideboard because I almost always take out all the Okos against Bazaar decks. So I'm wondering if the it might just be glitching on the sideboard. This hand is better.
Yeah, you mulligan into a hand with stuff to do.
Yeah.
Ancestral plus counter magic plus an Atraxa that becomes live if you pick up one of the things that puts it in is not bad in my book.
Yep. So they hit a serum powder.
No, it's not great. It's a 6 card hand to be sure. Like,
Yeah.
so opponent goes to 5. Not the most cards they could be having in their hand.
We
I feel
definitely
like feel like
ancestral
we
in their
could play.
upkeep.
Feel like we could be playing ancestral. I guess yeah, you can ancestral in their upkeep to play around negation, but
Yeah.
I think since we have the extra land here, I wouldn't have minded ancestraling on our turn, just to see if we found something to do with it. All right, they're going off with the Bazaar. All right, they get some lizards into play. We go for the brainstorm in the end step. No ley line. That's rough. We're gonna fetch some of that away, I'm sure.
Yeah. Right on time, Leyline. Right on time.
DT is good. How much mana do we have? We have 5 mana, so we can DT for show and tell.
Yeah, let's see what we do here.
No, we have 6 mana even. Could DT for Black Lotus and just play the Atraxa even. Oath is better. Yeah, it is. Without a bunch of 4/4s on their side, and Atraxa every turn is pretty gas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I went for Oath here. Let's see.
Oh yeah, and having the Atraxa in hand turns on the Force as um a backup option.
We did get show and tell, but yeah, Oath definitely would have been better, like you said, because then we can hold up Force with Atraxa.
I mean, we do have Force backup for the show and tell, just like it doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Like we can still put in Leyline of the Void if we have to force their Force.
right.
It's not nothing.
We do get punished here. Yeah, I do think Oath of Druids would have been the right call here.
Yeah. Do you think there is merit to forcing their forcing in the Leyline into play? I guess it doesn't really work as well against um a deck with hollow ones in it. But they're not recurring. They don't have the squeeze or whatever. They're going to be drawn thin pretty soon. But yeah, you got to keep you do got to. Oh yeah, we got to go top deck it up is
Never,
what we got to
never
do.
punished. Never punished.
This is the deck telling you, hey, this is what you should have DT'd
Yeah,
for.
exactly.
We put it on top for you.
This one resolves.
I do think there are probably some situations where it's like, okay, their first turn they like put a Vengevine or two, like a Vengevine and like a couple of hollow ones in, where it's probably better to DT for something fast rather than something slow like Oath, simply because you're just taking the life beat down. But now you can protect your Oath with Force of Vigor and from Force of Vigor and counter magic or whatever, and
They activate
you're having a
Bazaar in
good time.
response.
But yeah, exactly. But they're not applying pressure right now. That's exactly the point. And it was good for us to get a second threat because it's like something like Oath is more vulnerable to like counterspell plus Force of Vigor, whereas like, even getting a naked Atraxa would be playing around single counterspell plus Force of Vigor, but wouldn't be getting like a second or third Atraxa on following turns, for instance. Yeah, they got the Spirit tokens.
So Oath resolved, and opponent drew and then scooped it up. So we'll head to game
Yeah.
3.
Yep. They knew what was up. They saw the writing on the wall here. We find a hand with Leyline of the Void and Counter Magic and Mystical Tutor and Atraxa. I feel like we can keep this.
Yeah.
Go Leyline and slow him down. Try and like flash in an Atraxa or something.
Yeah,
Maybe even
mystical
show and
for
tell it.
recall. Yeah, I like this hand a lot.
Well, like you can Mystical for flash even if you found the lands or something.
Yeah, true.
Mulligan, they keep 7, but we have, yeah, like it's not perfect, but we don't go to 6 over this. They take a peek. So they're looking to find, lizards and hollow ones, but their Vengevines aren't going to work anymore, and their squeeze aren't going to work anymore. So we have to survive the initial onslaught. Yeah, Leyline's great here when we have to pass the turn. Like, Counter Magic doesn't do what it should against a deck that can resent this many threats, and having the Leyline at least proactively stops a lot of what they're trying to do. So we pass the turn. We let them Bazaar again. And they go get another Spirit Token. See how many hollow ones they picked up. We trying to mystical at the end step here? What do you want to mystical for?
I think just muscle memory. We had got Ancestral Recall, but let's see. DT. Why did we get Demonic Tutor?
Land for Fluster is basically unbeatable here unless they deploy a bunch of hollow ones that would not even cast mystical. Interesting.
I'm trying to remember why I got DT.
Let's find out. Let's see what you go get with it.
Yeah, I guess Oath was what I was thinking. Oh, okay. I remember this interaction. I'm pretty sure. I think I screwed up this interaction. Let's see what happens. So, in response to Demonic Tutor, they cast Force of Vigor targeting Leyline.
And then we go Force the Force.
Pitching Atraxa. Yeah, Not Me says we're playing into Mindbreak Trap. Let's see what happens. I seem to remember screwing up bad at this point, but let's see.
This is still the second spell.
Okay.
They force again.
Yeah, so this
Now
is
we would be playing into Mindbreak Trap.
so this is where I screwed up. I didn't pay attention to the target of Force Negation. So with Force Negation, they're targeting my Demonic Tutor.
Oh, I see.
And I'm pretty sure when I cast Force here, I target the wrong thing.
Oh, you target the Force of Vigor. Yeah. Oh, I see.
So
Oh no, you just let
I
it
let it.
happen.
Yeah, I let it happen, and it's targeting the DT. And then I'm pretty sure I cast a Force of Will targeting my own Force of Will here. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh no.
Yeah, not like
Oh.
this. Yeah. So I just completely. I mean, we had a chance here, right? Like.
Now's the opportunity for the opponent to my bank track all three of the spells.
Just rub salt in the wound.
This.
Yeah, so we're just pissing the bed majorly right here. But yeah, so I remember I still have PTSD from this interaction. So I end up
So even misclick aside, you were gonna let that resolve. So you were okay with the Force of Vigor happening basically, and you getting a DT off and finding the Oath anyway. You think that was a good exchange?
So exactly. What I meant to click was stop their Force Negation from countering my DT, let the Force of Vigor happen. But as I recall, based on what they did the next turn, I don't think it would have ended up mattering because either way, the ley line was going away and they end up just completely popping off next turn. But huge punt nonetheless.
I mean, you can take a look at your clock here. In these vintage games, I'm not afraid to use my clock to sort of consider the lines for the doomsday piles, that kind of stuff, because most of these games, they just, they're over like a flash in the pan. So you'll annoy your opponent, but I say take the time.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Not me for sure. If we let Demonic Tutor resolve there, we're in much better shape. I guess the question would have been, do we fight over protecting the ley line? But as you'll see, the next turn it ends up being pretty darn explosive.
So we're valuing Fluster more for the counter magic and for their force vigors, right? Because these are the ways that they stop us from stopping them.
Yeah, good point, not me.
I think you could. Can't you justifiably mystical on their end step? Like, what are they going to do? They can't force the ley line in their own end step. They can't do anything relevant. Like, you can leave up Flusterstorm on your turn, but at least you can like pick up Ancestral, as Jason was talking about. Yeah,
Yeah, and that would have been the better play. Then we leave up a blue mana, hold up Flusterstorm, like not me pointed out. I just spewed, just overextended.
yeah. Just drawing a card is fine. It's true. What you're really concerned about, like as you pass the turn, are hollow ones because they got to keep fishing the Vengevines. But they're concerned about the Leyline of the Void sticking on the field, and without the squeeze, they are just going to run out of cards eventually after these first few turns. Is that some Warhammer thing that these decks are running now?
Oh yeah, you haven't seen Poxwalkers? It's crazy. Look at this card.
When you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand, you get a 3/1 Death Touch in from your graveyard. All right, that's cool. Like that's not unreasonable.
Yeah, so this one stung. At this point, we were in first place and just totally punted game three away big time.
Yeah, I don't have as much of a finger on the pulse of the pace of this matchup, but I guess if they don't pop off early, you can just kind of take it slow on the draw with that much
Yep.
counterspell backup.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we screwed up. We overextended. Should have left, like Not Me said. Should have got recall there. Then you leave up a land to hold up Flusterstorm back up for any.
But it's easy to let the fear grip your heart. If you pass the turn
Right.
back and they just play three hollow ones, it's like, what are you doing with your life?
That's
So,
true. And I think that's what I was thinking. I was kind of keeping my foot on the gas.
all right, let's take a look here.
Yeah, so round six, I think we're in third or fourth place at this point going into the last round.
So we do get to go first. This is Discover End, so we know this is a Doomsday player. At least I know. Um, you keep this hand against Doomsday?
No, I don't like this hand.
Nah, I don't either. Let's ship it.
Oh, we kept it.
It has Flusterstorm and Vamp, I suppose.
Yeah,
So,
you know what? I think you're right. I think I looked them up and saw they were a Storm player, so we kept it.
we play a land and then we threaten to Fluster to stop them from winning and Vamp if they don't. So
Yeah, I think you're right.
it's a fair play.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think the fact that they were probably on Storm and we had Flusterstorm and Vamp.
Yep, they're just gonna ponder. So do you Vamp on end step here? And if so, what do you Vamp for? You could get Tinker and try and go for Tinker Citadel. You could go for Oath and try and go for Oath with Flusterstorm backup. It's Ancestral.
just my default answer. Ooga booga
Yeah, it
ancestral.
is probably right to play out the crypt. I don't know. Ancestral does have a chance to draw you into threats and cards, but so does Vamp. That's kind of what the Vamp's for.
Yeah.
I think I might have picked a lane here and tried to go for something, but
Yeah, you're
I'm
right.
not the expert.
Well, not me pointing out we could have grabbed Oath there and just played it out like you said.
Oh yeah, either one of those lines would have had Fluster backup. What am I talking about? Like you had the land to play,
Yeah.
so. You think Oath does better than Tinker Citadel at full life? You don't have top. I guess Citadel can brick.
True. So we fight over the recall. And we're rewarded.
It's true that even upkeep Ancestral is like, you can keep Ancestral sort of as just a way to kill Doomsday, I guess. Like, they go for it and then you just get them.
Yeah, we've done that before with Not Me's taught me that trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you Not Me. This was a lot of this was just just dumb luck.
Yeah, sometimes Ancestral is just triple demonic tutor.
Yeah.
Getting the oath out there. It's good. They're gonna have to try and win now. It's gonna be hard for them.
They get Gush with the Mystical Tutor.
So, I mean, that's good. They can, you know, try and play a Doomsday, try and use Gush to make piles that are kind of hard to kill. But
Yeah, Not Me pointing out, I held the Orchard in hand. I didn't want to reveal that until after I played the Oath. Just a little bit of sequencing there.
just like they don't know that you have it, so
Right.
that, yeah.
Maybe they're less incentivized to counter it.
But if you play the, oh no, you had the extra mana, so you can pay for a Fluster. No, the Fluster doesn't even work on enchantments. So yeah, that's all good. You can pay for.
Alright, I think the replay's jacked up again. Let's see. Okay, so Treasure Cruise. We let that resolve.
Yep.
Gush. I think we let this
Drawing a lot of
resolve.
cards.
Yep, I think we're just gonna let this happen.
Yeah, we're just gonna let a lot of things happen until, yeah, right. They take a look at the hand. They kind of try and go for something here.
We will fight over Doomsday.
And just like the last game, it's like, I wonder, are you even supposed to fight over Doomsday here?
Right.
There's enough mana that it could be bait for, say, another Doomsday.
So they dress down a response. We won't get the Atraxo trigger.
So Yogwell's in the graveyard, so I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, because we oathed it, yeah. So we can't DT for Yogwell anymore. What can we DT for here that helps us out? Time Walk?
Yeah, I think Time Walk was the grab here.
I think it's a good grab. Gives us another oath trigger. Lets us attack.
Didn't trigger Oath that time. Probably should have.
I think you should. You should
Yeah.
just draw the cards.
Yeah.
Like, if you are you afraid of yourself like decking out? by not oathing here, for instance?
Yeah, I mean, I probably looked at my library, saw 29 cards, but should have paid attention to the fact they're at 11 life and they're playing Doomsday.
I know some people run Gaia's Blessing for stuff like this, right? So that you can oath with impunity and not feel at all bad about it and shuffle some things back in. But you know, another school of thought is that it's not really strictly necessary. That just oathing yourself down is going to be a good way to win the game, regardless. So
Yeah.
that it's kind of a crutch. Yeah, if you have four Atraxes, unless you're like drawing a lot of them and pitching them all with force or whatever, like you should be winning the game before it starts to matter. So we can check the sideboard here. What do we have here against Doomsday this time? We have the MBT. We have, um,
Yeah, basically just bring in the counter magic. So we bring in the Mind Break Trap, and that's pretty much it.
oh yeah, you don't have a lot of counter magic besides that, so
Yeah, because we have two Flusters main board.
yeah. Nothing else in here makes sense. Alrighty.
This hand has a lot of answers or a lot of permission.
Yeah, I mean, think you can keep this. You're looking for stuff, but stopping them from winning is almost just as good.
Yeah.
This might even be a hand where you like let Doomsday resolve and feel confident that you have enough stuff to stop them in the case that it does.
Probably should have played the Crypt out here.
Probably.
Yeah, I agree, Bob.
We're pondering the dance of eternal formats. All right, we picked up a shell, but we don't need to be hasty. I mean, we have Mana Crypto. Maybe we can be a little hasty.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, not me. Like, if you let them cast Doomsday, they're not gonna have enough stuff between their hand and their pile to stop Mindbreak Trap, Force Will, Flusterstorm. It's just not happening.
They've got Fluster.
So you're gonna fluster their fluster.
We Fluster back, which I guess that's a decision point here, right? Are we being too aggressive?
Like, if we want the show and tell the result, like if this Traxxas comes down, we get another blue card, so we still have two pieces of counter magic. But if we just let this go, I mean, we still have three pieces of protection against their Doomsday. So
Yeah.
I think we can just get the Atraxa in play. Oh, they do have another force.
Yeah.
So they're committing everything they have to win this fight, and I guess it almost doesn't matter. It's like, you know, with them sculpting their hand right, like the fight's gonna happen over something. So
Yeah, so this was kind of make or break. I decided to go all in on this. They still have three cards in hand.
the way that winning this fight loses you the game is if you jam an Atraxa and then they jam a Doomsday pile that wins the turn they cast it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That sort of makes you feel a little silly. Whereas if you like let them counter the show and then counter their Thassa's Oracle after they Doomsday and they don't have a counter to follow it up, then you feel a little good about that. Yeah, we know they have Dress Down, but that Dress Down, like, they're tapped out of Dress Down right now.
Yeah, they could bring it in with the show and tell though. But
Oh, does that work? Does that actually work? Does that turn off the Atraxa if they come in at
they
the same
both come in
time?
at the same time. I don't think it does. I think you still get the trigger.
Oh, it turns off the Atraxa.
It does
Okay,
turn
in
off.
that
Okay.
in that case, I probably would have lost. I probably wouldn't have fought over this then.
Yeah. Yeah, I
If
was not
that's the
thinking
break
about
point.
that.
I thought that we were safe against dress down, and this is a reason to go for this fight. But we are not safe against dress down when
Yeah,
it's show and tell.
we got lucky.
Do they even fight over the show and tell if they have dress down though? Like you just show and tell them, and they say okay, and
True.
then they put in dress down. But then again, you could be show and telling an oath instead of casting oath for some reason, or show and telling a citadel.
So we got really good
Or they,
hits here. We play the Lotus, cast Time Walk. We have a Force of Negation.
yep. I mean, those are all good things.
Drew a Fluster.
Yeah, that's a reason they might fight over it to strip your counter magic. All right, they are going to go for it here. They don't have any cards in their hand really, so you can force this Doomsday with impunity. Even if they fluster, you fluster back. Should have let that resolve. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's going to be the question. Is like, how often is Oath are you supposed to let Doomsday resolve?
Hmm. Yeah.
I think you're still, yeah, paying half your life is definitely the cost here. Like, if they, whatever they try to resolve that digs them deeper into the deck, you counter, and then they're at lower life, and then you just kill them. Yeah. Like if their one card in hand is like Street Wraith, and then it tries to get them into a gush, or it's like a cantrip, you just get them with that counter spell.
Yeah, and that's where my lack of knowledge about how Doomsday works. I don't know enough to say can they win that turn or not, and how much, do I have enough counter magic, etc. But I guess with them only having one or two cards in hand, I could have deduced that.
So it's like if you're Doomsday and you have an extra mana, then like any Street Wraith or Gitaxian Probe, right, can get you into Ancestral, which gets you into Black Lotus Thassa's Oracle, plus like maybe a Pact of Negation or something if you're feeling really spicy. And that's kind of like one of the things that can happen. And the other thing that can happen is if they have two lands in play, they can like Street Wraith into a Gush and then use that Gush to draw two cards, which is usually like you know Black Lotus Thassa's Oracle or Black Lotus, and then more cantrips to either have more Thassa's Oracle or go down to zero cards or have more counter magic or something like that. So
Hmm.
it's it's kind of like Gush is the sort of way to turn manaless draws and that have one cantrip from like a Street Wraith into managed draws because you get more draws and you get Black Lotus and then suddenly you're good.
Hmm.
And Ancestral Recall is like one of the more standard A plus B routes where it's like I have the extra mana, so I get Ancestral, and then Ancestral gets me three cards, which gives me the mana to play Thassa's Oracle, and maybe some more protection.
Hmm. So we let Treasure
There
Cruise resolve. I mean, I should have just countered that
was it the
because
last card in their hand or
they had
something?
zero cards. Yeah.
Yeah, but this still kills them. So yeah,
Yep.
this is all good. We beat Doomsday, and that puts us in the top eight.
Yeah.
5-1.
Surprisingly, we made a top eight. I think we were number three heading into top eight.
Yep, I lost the mirror to Discover N in my first challenge, so you got that revenge for me.
Yeah. All right. So here's our top eight match.
All right, we win the die roll here. Let's take a look.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks for pointing that out, Bob. I think they did have mana to pay for Flusterstorm. I think that's why I let it resolve. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, so they could get like then their cruise is restricted, but they can still find like Black Lotus Mox or whatever.
Right. Turn one Oko or turn one Time Walk. I think this is a keep. They have a Lurus. So turn one Oko is pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you're putting the Oko in play. You're putting the pressure on them. I'm not like super confident in this hand, but
So we lead on time walk.
no, it's true. You are definitely supposed to let the Doomsday resolve there with one card in their hand and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So we take our time walk turn, and presumably we're just gonna try and get an Oko out there. And oh no, we're backtracking and playing Brainstorm
Playing
instead.
brainstorm.
I think it's okay to play Oko here, given that we have it. I don't know.
I like these draws.
Yeah, they're real though.
Put back 2 lands.
One of those was the Orchard. We're not gonna jam anything. We're not gonna
No,
jam
and
Oath.
I think obviously that's a mistake. We should have jammed Oko here, draw to counter spell, and then play Oath next turn.
Yeah, I mean, you said you put back 2 lands. Maybe you were supposed to keep Orchard, or you were supposed to keep another land and like keep Orchard in your hand to try and like
Mm-hmm.
play Oath without Orchard and like play Orchard next turn or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we sequenced that poorly, and not me also pointing out, knowing that we're playing against Luris, probably should have went for a more aggressive opening hand.
Yeah, like that's why I was sort of like hesitant about this hand in the first place. Like, yeah, turn one Oko is great, but I don't really like the negation.
Right.
But like also it's like it's still like a reasonable thing to be doing, which is why I'm surprised you just didn't go for the
Didn't do
turn one
anything.
Oko.
Right,
Yeah.
that's the thing. We kept the hand on the back of a turn 1 Oko, and then we didn't play a turn 1 Oko or a turn 2 Oko with Time Walk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Still our turn one basically.
Yeah, I agree though. We should have forced the issue here, and maybe we did. Maybe I didn't pass, but it's certainly looking like we're passing. Yeah, we passed. Definitely a mistake. Yeah, good point. Not me. Our brain was a little frazzled at this point.
Like we're not really happy to be pitching this Oko to a negation either,
Well,
frankly.
the other problem is yeah. Okay, I remember this now. Yeah, this was definitely being 7 rounds in. So
Did you
not
think
only
one of
did
these monsters was
I'm
blue?
fetching away my frigging orchard, and I still can't hardcast Force Negation. So yeah, I remember this. This was a complete meltdown.
Yeah. So it's like if you don't even cast Oko and just jam Oko and have Brainstorm to pitch the Force Negation,
Yep,
I think this looks a lot better, you know?
yep, absolutely. Yeah, we totally melted down on those couple turns there.
And again, sort of like pitching Oko to Force Negation when Oko itself kind of deals with the Time Vault anyway.
Yep, but as it kept happening all day, we somehow get rewarded by by drawing the orchard that we fetched away.
Yeah. So we jam out the Orchard and we tell him to go.
Yep, just dumb luck there.
We give him the bad news. Trax is coming.
That's right.
Yeah, that's probably what I would have done, not me. To cast Oko and try and jam Orchard Oath afterwards.
So here's a play you see a lot from these decks.
Yeah,
They fatal
they'll
push your
push their own
token.
their own
Yep.
spirit token.
Yep, deny me the oath trigger. That's something you really have to expect from these blue black Luris decks.
But hey, you're stopping them from making constructs at least. So
They still have the soul ring though. And again, look at this top
yeah,
deck
now
luck.
you pick up the Oko. Now you give them 2 creatures, turn off their Soul Ring.
Just pure luck. And for some reason, yeah, I made a food here instead of giving a creature. Should have given them two. But I think my thinking was if I did that, they still make a construct and they still kill Oko. So I opted not to give them a second creature there.
Do they kill Oko if they get another creature there? The construct's a 2/2.
Let's see. So they tap in response, make a construct. Then they have a 3/3 Soul Ring Elk. They make another construct on their turn.
They with what mana? They either sack the Lotus to make the construct, or because their Soul Ring isn't a Soul Ring anymore.
Yeah, Oko would.
Oh, they grab another artifact, so it's a 3/3
Yeah,
construct and a 3/3 Elk. So the
yeah,
Oko does die.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
Oko would have been at 5 if I would have
but it does.
elked.
But it's true. It doesn't really matter if Oko dies because we have Oath in
Good
play.
point.
That was the other question that I was going to ask
Exactly.
you.
Yep. And that's a point where I should have realized. Okay, making 2 creatures is more important than Oko living.
Okay, they do make constructs. A Twister.
Yeah, Time
They
Twister.
give us a bunch of cards for
Yeah,
that. That's fun.
kind of a surprise there.
I think there's merit to turning off the Soul Ring just regardless of any other considerations too. Like,
Yeah.
they don't need to have all this mana. They just don't. Where's this going? Oko. Yeah. Oko is doing stuff. Luris is going to hand. Oath is going to trigger, though.
Yeah, so they grab Luris, so now I don't have to worry about Bowmasters. So I think I did fire off this recall. I can't remember. Nope.
I mean, that's cool. So we can grab Tinker, Force, Mox, Besage, which, yeah, we can just grab all the cards.
Yeah.
There we go.
Pretty good hits there. And we have recall in hand. So just dumb luck here.
Yeah, we'll go get Tinker Citadel. We'll try and play a bunch of cards.
We'll just do all the things.
Yeah, and they can't even kill an Atraxa. Sure, just put some more cards into play. Oh yeah.
So this is another punt. I think I end up putting 2 lands on top.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you got Citadel, you get to play it. Just put some zeros on there.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we're just looking for Time Walk, just for the instant kill. But they're dead. They're not doing anything.
Yeah, we passed the turn here, which probably isn't correct, but I figured I've got enough counter spells. I didn't really want to fire off the Yogg-Will with nothing in my graveyard.
Yeah, Yogg-Will Tinker for top. That's
yeah.
true. That works too. You just start drawing
Just
a bunch
win
of
on
cards.
the spot, yeah. Yeah, it's a good line, not me.
I mean, it is also true though. Like, what else are we looking for? But then again, we only have one counterspell in our hand.
We got Fluster.
We got Fluster. Yeah, I mean, like, they just have a lot of mana though, right? Like, Fluster is kind of weak here.
Yeah, and that's the risk, right? Like passing the turn, they have a full grip. So definitely, I like Not Me's line of Yogg-Will into Tinker and just draw 10 more cards.
Because like we can just tap the Bolas to Citadel and dome them if we find Time Walk and just attack once even.
Yeah. Yeah, they've seen enough. I think we did get lucky there. It looks like they drew a pretty bad 7 off the Time Twister.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point, not me. Should have gone for the throat on that turn. All right, game 2.
But we got 2 more games though, so let's see how it goes. On the draw, we pick up
Oh, let's look at the sideboard real quick. So in these matchups, bring in the creature removal, the long goodbyes, take out a force negation, take out a mystical tutor.
You bring in one dismember as well, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah.
unless you didn't have two. Oh yeah, you bring in one dismember and take out one show and tell. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, good stuff.
Yeah, good point, Fox. We should have killed them in response to their concession.
Yeah. What would you bring in, Nami?
Oh,
Energy
energy
flux.
flux. Huh,
Yeah,
okay.
get them off. Get them off their artifacts.
Yeah. So we mulled the first hand. This hand has 3 Oath and a Forbidden Orchard.
Yeah, no counter magic, but it has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We can't really mulligan this, but I'm not exactly happy either.
Yeah,
So
I feel the same way. We do keep it.
spot.
We
You
put
don't
back.
bottom an oath.
I know. Inexplicably, we put back a top.
We surely don't need 3 of these stupid things.
Yeah, Fox says keep it based on the fact it has a card from Visions.
Yeah, that's true.
Snap keep.
This is a good poker hand here, though. We got a triple.
Yeah, 3 of a kind. Cage, and it instantly
Oh,
punished.
oh no!
Instantly punished.
This is where energy flush would be doing stuff. I was like, what? It's like, do you have artifact removal? So I guess energy flux is supposed to be artifact removal.
Yup. Not me. We gotta work on my sideboard guide so I don't mess up like this.
Yeah, so that's gonna hurt.
Yup.
That's true. We're not signing that in though. We can draw the Beseiju. Can vamp for the Beseiju even. What are we vamping for? Ancestral?
Knowing me, probably.
Yeah.
Ooga booga ancestral recall. Alright, it
I
gets
have
countered.
Do we want to just play Oath anyway, just to like
Not me.
just have it?
Not me says we should have vamped for the 4th oath.
Get the 4 of a kind. Hey, we upgraded our poker hand to a full house though.
Yeah, exactly. We have a
That's
full
really
house.
That's really great for the poker meta. Now it's important when they have a Grafdigger's Cage to not let the Oath triggers happen.
Yeah.
Because then we just mill the cards anyway and leave an Atraxa on top. Unless you want a Vamp Tutor for an Atraxa. Then you're good.
Sometimes that does come up. Sometimes you do want to put the Atrax on top, like if you have a show and tell in hand.
Yeah, exactly.
So this game is quickly slipping away from us.
We have a force for a Time Vault at least, but they're making constructs.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we like it didn't resolve, but if we had the opportunity to vamp for an energy flux, just look at how good it is here. They can keep 2 things.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to put that note in the sideboard guide, not me, so I don't screw that up again.
They Pithing Needle the Beseiju. That's a heads up play. That's the one out.
Yeah, we are very dead. So could have played that better, obviously. I still think we keep that 6, but we need to put back an
Put
oath.
back one of the oaths and
Yep.
sideboard better, basically.
And we should have sideboarded better, yep. Alright, game 3 of our top 8 match.
Alright, now we're on the play. The deck giveth, the deck taketh away.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we at? I mean, uncounterably killing a Lurrus doesn't seem like that bad to me, not me. like I get it, like, the energy fluxes are the money cards to sideboard in, and we are generally already well boarded for them, but I can understand wanting to put in long goodbye.
Yeah, remind me after this match. I'll pull up my sideboard guide. We'll make a few revisions.
You never want to get to the point where the castle. That's absolutely fair.
Yeah.
Like they're just grinding you out at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Um. So this hand isn't fast, and it also doesn't have an artifact, but it has brainstorm. How are you feeling here?
I don't like this hand, but let's see.
Yeah, you're definitely the fast combo deck in the matchup. Yeah, I think you can mulligan this.
Oh no, I kept. Okay, my brain must have been mushed at this point.
Yeah, I think not recognizing your role in the matchup was
Yep.
sort of like what sort of affected how you played the first game, and it's affecting this keep now.
Yeah. Yeah, this was definitely a bad keep. Doesn't do enough fast enough.
Like they're the Saga deck. They can play sagas and make constructs and make your life miserable. They
Yeah.
can wasteland your lands. They can, try and get inevitability by putting a vault key on the board.
Look at my deck though, keeping me in it. Look at this upkeep brainstorm.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, we get the oath, we get the ancestral, we have stuff. We still don't have counter magic though.
True. But did get rewarded for keeping a bad hand. Opponent plays out 2 baubles and a wasteland. That's gonna hurt.
Yeah, we probably didn't need to upkeep this brainstorm.
Yeah.
You either play it on your turn, or you probably just end step it to play our own wasteland if you had the fetch there. But wait, we didn't fetch. We just played the land.
Yeah, and
We do
that's
have
where
a
I
fetch
gotta
one.
learn. I gotta remember these darn wasteland decks to stop playing out my lands like that. That could have gone so much better for us. Those little mistakes definitely cost you in top 8. They're gonna draw 2.
Yep. Bobble's a good card. Yep, so we pick up a fetch here. What else did we put on underneath on that brainstorm? I don't even remember.
I don't remember. I think it was 2 lands.
Alright, now we're gonna upkeep Ancestral.
Yeah. Again, exposing ourselves to
Oh, and
wasteland.
Tinker, yeah. We put out the Tinker.
Oh right.
Yeah, we didn't need that. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Ancestral, versus 7 cards.
Yep, 7 cards and we expose ourselves to another wasteland. Just playing loose at this point. Just spewing.
Do we get wastelanded here? Let's find out. Give us the bad news, opponent. Oh, the probe. Oh, it's not a wasteland. Okay.
Oh no, they have their
They
own
have their
recall.
own stuff. Yeah. So since they didn't wasteland us, I mean they have 7 cards, so it's kind of hard to try and flash Atraxa, but we can do it.
I mean, we have 3 threats in hand.
Yeah, exactly. Not me. Like you play 2 lands, you play Oath, or you play Flash, and then like if they waste you, you still get to Ancestral behind.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure we need to play the Sapphire here. Like they probed us, right? This is the one card in their hand and they don't know about.
Hmm.
They know we don't have counter magic.
Yeah, they're just countering everything.
I mean, they probably counter it anyway, but it's sure nice for them to not know.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Either that or I agree, Slam Oko. Like,
yeah. They treasure cruise, refill their hand.
all right, they're playing the manas.
Yep. You're right, not me for sure.
A slow hand without counter magic, even that is probably one of the reasons why this keep was a bit rough, just in general.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're hoping to pass the turn a couple of times with fetch lands, and then just like jam a couple of threats and try and run them out of stuff. Just give him so much space. All right, here comes the Oko. Here comes the Force Negation.
It's coming off the rails.
Yeah, we don't have an answer to that.
Yeah, I agree, Fox. We just expose ourselves to those early wastelands. But again, our deck just trying its best to keep us in this game. Handful of counter spells. And there's the key.
They're gonna take all the turns.
So good game to our opponent, but yeah, we definitely played a bad hand, and then like Nami said, it just kind of compounded from there. We were just spewing.
Great run though. I mean, the deck
Yeah.
the deck helped you out, but you had a couple of heads up lines, that I didn't even see. So like, a lot of interesting matchups, a lot of good vintage being played, and then get ground out by Saga in the end. That's kind of how it's gonna go. This was maybe winnable if you played this hand differently, but you know, in all likelihood, you're just supposed to mulligan it and then just kind of hold your breath, right? See how this
Right.
goes. Try and jam threats against the Lower Saga opponent. Definitely, this may have been your first Vantage top 8, but I doubt it's going to be the last. Good show.
Here, here. Thanks. Yeah, and thanks chat for hanging out. Let's if you want to hang around, I'm gonna look at the sideboard guide real quick, make a couple of updates while we've got everybody here.
Biggest mistake was not playing Legacy. Lol.
Good point, Fox. Yeah, we'll do that maybe this weekend. We have Paper Legacy at our local LGS this Friday night. Looking forward to that. All right. So,
The local LGS, the ATM machine.
yes, the redundant acronym. All right, not me. Where did we say we need? Okay, so we need to make a distinction here on Luris. So what do we say? 2 energy flux, and don't worry about the removal. What are we taking out?
Force Negation and Mystical, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. How's that look, not me? Okay. Then in the mirror, yeah, in the mirror we normally take out show and tell, but you were saying that Justin was saying leave in the show and tells in the mirror, Ben.
Um, yeah, I saw him take out 3 oaths and leave in all the show and tells.
Yeah.
Because it can almost not be the thing that you need to fight over in the mirror. I don't know. Seems to make sense to me. Oko's the axis you want to fight over, I guess, if you're getting into a real grindy game.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll try it like that for now. All right, that's going to do it for me. Thanks again for hanging out. Ghost Wheel, thanks again for commentary and for helping with the
Hey, I
stream.
appreciate it. Thanks for calling me in, especially when there's almost certainly better people available to handle this. But it's fun watching your top 8, and it's fun talking about your decisions. So Definitely bring me on again the next time you make it big.
Will do. All right, let's find somebody to raid. Chat, thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, I agree with not me there. If you don't have enough cars to bring in, you don't even need to take out a bunch of the oaths. But yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I'll make a note on that. All right, XJ Cloud is playing some Moon Stompy and Legacy, so let's give them a raid. Again, thanks for hanging out, everybody. Have a good night.
Alrighty, I'm gonna sign off here. Guess for the rest of my night.
Thanks, Ben. Have a good one.
Good show. You too.